Alexandria.
Cajuns had their chances on Saturday versus Mississippi State. They put 28 on the Bulldogs. Fall 38-28 back at home this week. Coach Billy Napier every Tuesday with us right here on Off the Bench, ESPN New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Alexandria. Got to be frustrating when you go back and watch that film, see the turnovers, Coach, and see the points you left on the field. How did you recap last Saturday after the loss?
Well, a lot to be proud of, relative to how we competed in the game. I thought we were physical, we were tough, certainly had a great competitive spirit about us. Went toe-to-toe with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a one-score game with a couple minutes left. Had an opportunity to onside kick and execute a 4-minute situation at the end of the game. So we did lots of things well, and I think that it's a great opportunity. So many teachable moments in about every phase of the game last week. I think it's a little bit of a reality check for our team because there are consequences when you don't do it the right way. Some of these things that we harp on and stress on as coaches, they show up. And I think that a lot of it was technical and things that we could fix. Certainly we can coach them a little bit better, and I think we did have them in position at times, and maybe we didn't quite execute it with the right detail. So, lots to learn from this experience, and certainly excited about the improvement that we see. But it was a missed opportunity. I think we let that one get away. But, we're not going to live in that world. We're going to move forward, take ownership, tell the truth, have some integrity about it, look in the mirror, make the adjustments, and try to get better this week as we host Liberty on Saturday.
Yeah, and Coach, one area that I feel like, I guess I want to ask you, were you impressed with your team with how they responded after those first two series? I mean, Mississippi State comes out, they look great. They marched down the field, scored a touchdown. First play offensively, y'all throw an interception. It would have been real easy to just kind of throw your hands up in the air at that time and roll over.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm describing is, I'm pleased with where we're at from an intangible standpoint. We've built great trust. I think we've got great relationships in the building, not only player to player, but coach to player, coach to coach. I mean, nobody flinched. We know what we've invested, not only as individuals, but commitment to the team. So, the mental toughness that we showed, the resilience that we showed, we dealt with lots of adversity throughout the game. That's the making of a good team. When you got some competitors that can focus and go to the next possession, the next play. Numerous opportunities where we kept fighting back all the way till the end.
Coach Billy Napier joining us here, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. We always hear about these neutral site games and the benefits that they bring for the Power 5 schools, Coach. You guys open up in the Superdome on national television against an SEC opponent. How has that helped you in recruiting and the interest that it's brought to your program?
Well, it's unbelievable the feedback that you get all across the country. I get people that are texting me, from the West Coast, from the Northeast, all over the place. It's been incredible. And certainly when you play halfway decent and you're in the middle of the fight all the way to the end of the game, that helps as well. But I thought it was the greatest experience for our players, and certainly one heck of a weekend and event for all of our alumni and all the people that love UL and love the Ragin Cajuns. So I thought it was awesome. I think, tremendous positives, relative to recruiting, relative to our fan base, and certainly a great experience for our players.
And so, Coach, you mentioned the areas of improvement and kind of the details that you need to get fixed. What exactly are those? Like, what are y'all focusing on this week to get ready for Liberty?
Well, you got to start with taking better care of the ball. That's a little bit uncharacteristic of our team. We've done a relatively pretty good job of that on offense, especially the last couple of years. So, a couple fluke plays, that ended in turnovers. I think a couple situations that came up 2 minutes before the half, a couple turnaround of series in the backed up scenario. We had some gap integrity issues where we're gapped out when one guy short on a couple runs. The emphasis is all about ownership. It's all about taking complete ownership in your role, doing everything you can do between Sunday to Saturday, being prepared, playing with confidence, and being in position where you can do your job. And certainly, I think we're looking for more plays where we go 11 for 11. It should mean something to go out there and represent our team. If you're one of the 11 players out there, you ought to be prepared and do your job. It should mean something to you if you don't do your job and let down the team. So we've got that kind of group, and I think they've accepted the challenge. We had really good practice Sunday. Lots of players around the building yesterday, and we're ready to get back to work today with a good Tuesday practice for Liberty.
Coach, I'm not trying to be a wise guy here. Are you guys getting like a hospital bed ready in the coach's office for Hugh Freeze? I mean, like the images coming out from Liberty have been pretty funny this week.
Well, I think the guy's going through a difficult time.
Right.
Certainly anybody that's been through any of those back issues, and then you throw staph infection in there with it. So, we're going to do everything we can do to accommodate Coach Freeze, certainly for his team, and I can respect that. So our administration's handling all that. We're, Coach Freeze has always had very competitive teams. He's a proven head coach, always well-coached teams. So this team will be no different. They present a number of challenges for us, and we're going to focus on our prep for the game.
I always like picking head coaches' brains about this. We're talking to you all, head coach Billy Napier here on Off the Bench. But, what is your schedule like when one of these games ends? So Saturday's game was an early slate game. It's over Saturday afternoon. What comes next for you and your staff?
Well, we turn the page. We're going to have a very thorough evaluation of all three phases. But all the coordinators have an evaluation packet that we work our way through. Each position coach grades the tape thoroughly. We show up about 11 o'clock the next day and start working. But in the meantime, whatever time the game ends, whether that's at 12 midnight or 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, those position coaches, graduate assistants, quality control guys, they go to work on all the feedback, all the analysis that we need from the game. And then, we go, I think I go 11:45 with the offense, 12:30 with the defense, and then we get together around 1:30-ish, watch the special teams tape, and then talk about, where we're at, what we need to do. We try to turn the page in that 2:33 range to the next opponent on Sunday. So, we got a routine. It's very similar to some of the places I've worked in the past. But, it don't stop, that's for sure. And, we've got a tremendous staff and certainly a lot of professionals here that have done a great job. So, we get better at it each and every week, each and every year. And I like the process that we got in place, and we'll continue to get better at it.
It's easy for us who cover your sport to say that teams improve the most between weeks 1 and 2. It seems like coach speak. Is it?
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to be said for the reality check of the players. It's kind of, the coach has been saying all these things. He's been harping on all these things. But I think for the players, when they actually have been in a competition, people are watching. There's real life consequences for their mistakes. Sometimes we get in that practice groove a little bit. We don't quite realize the impact of maybe a technical error, a miscommunication, a mental error, bad fundamentals, not playing a situation correctly, whatever the case may be. But this game Saturday, and certainly I think for most teams, it becomes real to the players, and I think that's when you got them. So we kind of know where we're at relative to the competition. We're fortunate to play a good team. There was a small margin of error for our team, and I think that gives us great feedback and things that we can address and work on as we get ready for the second week.
I got 45 seconds. You've recruited and coached against LSU. It seems like they have an offense now. What has been the feeling about LSU and them not being able to get production from that side to where they kind of look like they're trying to they're starting to figure it out?
Well, I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but certainly I hear that they play well. I think they're getting good quarterback play. They've got tremendous skill. They're spreading the ball around. I think, it starts with balance, and it starts with explosive skill players that you can spread the ball around too. I don't know if they turned it over or not, but it sounds like they scored about every time they had the ball. I know we played Georgia Southern this year, so I'll probably be able to give you a little bit more feedback once we get to that week and I'm watching that tape. But, I think time will tell. I think it's really more about the whole body of work than 1 week. But I'm excited for those guys, and something they worked really hard since Coach O took over there and developing an identity. They got some really good people over there, and certainly we're excited for them.
Cajun Field this Saturday, kickoff set for 6:30 between the Cajuns and Liberty. Coach Billy Napier and Louisiana getting back home after last week in the Superdome and falling to Mississippi State. It was a good one this week versus Liberty back in Cajun Field. We'll be back with him next Tuesday.